Ooh, ooh. Hello, hello. Chainsaw Man chapter 221 came out today, and we are going to talk about it quickly because there's not that much to talk about. So, the chapter is named Safe Battle because last chapter Pochita ate death, and now people can't die. So, the Michiganers, is that how you refer to people from Michigan? The Michigan people, their buildings collapse into one shape, but the people survive and they fall into the water. Meanwhile, Yoru also took Oregon as one of her own and creates the Oregon sword to slice Pochita in two. At the same time, she realized that death is no longer here, but she can't remember what exactly it is. But she knows that Pochita did something and erased the concept of their battle ending. But anyways, she can't kill Pochita, so she absorbs the people of Oregon and later Virginia to do a nuclear punch. So I guess these people are still gone, maybe not dead, but anyway, she does big nuclear punch and the chapter ends there. So not that much to go over, but I guess one thing that is somewhat interesting is the people of Virginia are watching the battle between Yoru and Pochita through a big screen. They are having a watch party for whatever's going on in Japan. Um, and they are pretty happy about it. So maybe there is some truth to Yoru befriending these people when she's off in her America trip. But otherwise, she also uses. I'm not really sure about the significance of Oregon and Virginia here. Um, Someone left a really good comment on my last stream. Naomi says that Michigan was the primary weapons manufacturer for America in the Second World War. So I guess the residual memory for Yoru causes her to take over Michigan as a weapon. But I don't know the significance of Virginia or Oregon here. I guess Oregon is now Oregon. uh, but anyways, yeah, that's about it. I can't really find any significant connection between um I guess Virginia has more connection to like war and conflicts because of its closeness to the capital of America as well as its history of, you know, America's colonialism and whatnot. Um, Oregon, I'm really confused about. Maybe Fujimoto was just picking states out of a hat. Um, yeah, I guess that's pretty much the chapter for now. I also drew this guy and his cousin here to make him less lonely. Let's see. Mm, but yeah, I guess that's about all I have for now. Really fast chapter. Let me think. But yeah, otherwise, oh, I guess I can maybe talk about some of the comments I've been getting. Because apparently people have been watching the Baron Nayuta video a lot. I thought people were gonna watch the Goodbye Every video more, because that's the one I put all my effort into. But people don't want to do that, and that's okay. But yeah, that's. But let's see if we have any comments for now. Only relationship I could find between Oregon and war was that it was one of the few states that were attacked by the Japanese in World War II. Was it? I actually didn't know that. Let me gotta double check that. Because I thought only Pearl Harbor was attacked by Japanese during the Second World War. Actually, let me just look it up right now. Consuming knowledge. Oh, apparently they did. Let's see. When the Japanese submarine launched a full plane to drop incendiary bombs near Brookings to start forest fires. Huh. So apparently some guy dropped some bombs in the forest to try and start a forest fire, which didn't do much. And this was June of 1942. Okay. We learn something new every day. I didn't know that. It's very interesting. The nuclear punch is making you believe more and more that Chainsaw Man is a prequel to Fire Punch. Um, could be definitely a Devilman thing where the author makes like a bunch of series and then he's like, hey, these are all connected. Haha. But I doubt it. I don't think that's gonna be because the Fire Punch started with like people with they did have a history prior to or the events of the apocalypse that happened in Fire Punch, I think. Because I'm trying to remember what happened in Fire Punch. My memory of that is not the greatest. But I feel like if Fire Punch is connected to Chainsaw Man, there'd be devils in Fire Punch. And I feel the absence of that is a pretty big separator of the two series. Let's see. For nuclear impact, Virginia was the state to the first nuclear power plant to generate electricity for grid and is a global leader in nuclear technology. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I also need to look that up. My knowledge of nuclear technology isn't the greatest because I was looking up the test site for the first nuclear bomb testings, and that was in Mexico. Um, yeah, I couldn't find anything too significant about Virginia. I tried looking up if we had like any like maybe we were housing nuclear bombs in Virginia, but we weren't. I don't think we had any like coastal navy submarines there either. But yeah, didn't look up. I said yeah, I'll look up the Virginia, do my research on the great state of Virginia. You know, my first thought about when it came to states was that Fujimoto was trying to like spell something with the first letter of every state. So he did like Michigan, Oregon, and then Virginia. So I thought he was trying to like spell movie to profess his love of movies. But then it occurred to me that there's no state that starts with an E. So he will have to do like two I's to make up for the E. But yeah, no, I really do think Fujimoto might be just picking states out of a hat. I think Michigan, the commenter from last chapter, was onto something with the industrialization of Detroit and the rest of Michigan. But for Oregon and Virginia, I think Fujimoto just picked the ones he recognized the most, maybe. You love my goodbye every video. Thank you, especially parallels to his other work. Yeah, that's definitely the most effort I put into a video yet. Um, but yeah, I did get a good number of subscribers over like the last 2 weeks, at least for me by my standards. But these people don't know. These people don't know I make like one video a year. Uh, but yeah, I'd say the Oregon slash panel looked like one of Fujimoto's best. He must love drawing architecture. Yeah, he does do a lot of really detailed buildings. I'm almost not sure if it's like a specific assistant that's doing this or Fujimoto himself. Because I feel when part two first started, there's like an extra emphasis on all the background buildings, even more than part one. So that I was thinking like maybe he just hired certain assistants that are really good at drawing buildings. I do wish like assistants were credited more in manga in general, because Fujimoto is actually one of the better ones in terms of like crediting people that worked on the series. I think for his one shots he like credited them all, and for his series not as much. But that's I think that's more so like the nature of how serializations go, because some assistants leave, some assistants don't stay for the entire duration of the series. So I know he, in the end of Fire Punch specifically, he credited like 3 to 4 guys there. But otherwise for Chainsaw Man, I don't think he did that. Uh, at least at the end of part one. But he does go on Twitter a lot to shout them out if they have something new published. I know this because for a while I was trying to make a video about other Fujimoto assistants. But a lot of their works are in Japanese, so I've been trying to slowly read it, and my Japanese reading is terrible. But there are some pretty interesting works. There was one that was translated. Uh, their name escaped me, but it was about like a transgendered character dealing with her sexuality. It's actually really good. But I'll have to remember the name of the author. It's like a big one shot collection. I don't think the author actually wrote anything else after that. But yeah, anyways, architecture. Can't speak today. But yeah, maybe he picked Oregon to spell Origo as a sound effect that matches Japanese. Yeah, maybe it is what's spelled here. The N is covered by Pochida's guts. Fujimoto really do love his guts, though. I guess you can say that this is a Oregon Trail. But yeah. Anyways, yeah, I don't really know the significance of Oregon. I do feel, like I said, I do feel Michigan was like a calculated selection, whereas Oregon and Virginia are just more random. I do find it interesting that the people that are like falling out of the sky aren't still injured. Because my initial thought was that even though the Death Devil is gone, people are still gonna get hurt and age and whatnot. That's why Yoru's Forever War is gonna be so terrifying. But if people can't get injured either, I feel that takes the fear out of a lot of it. So you wonder if the symbolism for the panel when the nuclear punch went off, some people looked away, while some looked directly into it. Yeah, that's a good point. Because I do feel that like they were surprisingly very nonchalant about the whole affair when the panel happened. Also, they were kind of nonchalant about the sky of doors that's above their heads. But yeah, no, I think you have a really good point there about the first interaction with the nuclear bomb, which is similar to when Hiroshima happened. A lot of people didn't know like what was going on. They looked directly into it. And yeah. Fujimoto does recommend former assistants like Hell's Paradise, Dandadan, and Spy X Family. Yeah, he does. He does. I'm thinking more about like smaller series. Like sometimes when one of his assistants put out like a one shot, he will also well, he would used to act on his like little sister quotation mark account and be like, "Wow, this is really good. I highly recommend it." The latest one is Centuria, which is also his assistant. I don't think the author for that actually worked on Chainsaw Man at all, but I think he did do the one shots. He did. I have to double check this, but I think he did Goodbye Eri and possibly. Well, no, I think he was credited on Look Back and maybe Goodbye Eri, but I'll have to revisit that. Oh, you know what? The previous one I was talking about, the transgender manga by one of his assistants, that assistant also did the art for Just Listen to the Song. And that was really cool because the art for that, like, if you didn't tell me, I probably wouldn't be able to distinguish it from Fujimoto's art. And that assistant's own manga, like her style is there's a bit of a difference. So it's not like she just copied Fujimoto's art and did her own. She was just really good at replicating Fujimoto's art. Hmm, loving the puns. Yes, I work very hard on the puns. That devil getting erased doesn't mean perfect immortality. When the ears went away, people could still hear. I wonder if there's like a what'd you say? There's like a time effect, like immediately after Ochida erases something, people can maybe still have a bit of a residual effect of that concept, but then like it takes some time for everything to mix together and settle in. Cause when I'm trying to think when ears were erased, could people still hear? Because some of the characters were like still speaking into their little walkie talkies, but it may just be like a bit of a habit. Um, yeah, we'll have to because Pochita's powers are. When you think about Pochita's powers, there is a lot of ambiguity there. Because if, say Pochita erases the World War II devil, right? But if my granddad died in the Second World War, so I guess my memory then would fix itself to think that he died from like a accident or something. But would the like what would the rest of my family think, right? Would they also think that he just died in an accident, or would they, with their brains, come up with other scenarios, or like would we somehow just all have the same conclusion? I think that's maybe one of the bigger questions I have in regards to how Pochita manipulates memories. Da-da-da. But one thing you notice is that some devils looked away, but all the devils were looking at the explosion. Yeah, yeah, because when the punch happened, there was like they were surrounded by devils. Um, actually, let me see. Yeah, these guys don't know about the radiation. They just look straight at it. I guess one thing I will say about this chapter is that the background devils, they are not as cool as the last chapters, because this chapter's background devils are just like a bunch of balding, like they look like office workers if they were devils. Very, very ordinary. The accountants of devils. Uh, but yeah, I do appreciate the devil design for the most part, but this guy is like he looks like the my middle school principal from behind. A bit balding off the top. But yeah, anyways, that's about all I have for now. Oh, also, Yoru made people banish when she did the Oregon Slash. That's a type of death. Yeah, she I guess she absorbed them. Like I guess it's like the Piccolo and the other Namekians. She absorbed their powers. They are gone by all word meaning of words. They should be dead, but they are somehow not. Maybe this is a chance for Fujimoto to show off the other possibilities of death that Makima, or other possibilities at the end of lives other than death that Makima spoke about in part one. Although I do feel that he should maybe never explain those just to keep the mystique going. Because I feel not everything needs to be shown. Some stuff are better left unsaid. You wonder if the title Safe Battle was reference to the Death Devil Gone but never mentioned. I think Safe Battle is just like a reference to the fact that the people, the civilians, aren't just dying, as opposed to like them, dropping left from right from as casualties of big battles before. But yeah, that's about all I have for now. Again, a really short chapter, but the final panel is very big boom. I guess you could say that in a way, this is literally just Fire Punch taken to the extreme. Nuclear is just really hot fire. But yeah, that's all I got for now. There is going to be a chapter next week. Japanese, actually no, Japan do celebrate Thanksgiving, but it should be. I think it was actually like on the 22nd, but not. They don't care about it as much as we do. So there is going to be a chapter next week, thankfully. And yeah, thanks for all the comments. I will come back in a week